their core mandate: to defend and protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic of Kenya. Their bravery knows no limits.
Make a man go through the wall without breaking the wall.
Laziness, it is not in our vocabulary.
But what are their stories, their tales? Military Tales, every Saturday at 9 p.m. with Ben Troy Njoe.
County Gaza! Yeah! County Gaza!
Wanafunzi wa shuleni, onyesha adabu yako.
Yesu nipende leo kuliko jana.
Je, ni kweli kwamba vyeti ndivyo chanzo cha ajira?
Ajiri wengi wanatumia vyeti kupunguza idadi ya wanaotafuta kazi. Unataka kuwa daktari na una cheti, lazima uwe na thibitisho kwamba wewe ni daktari.
Hizo ukienda kutafuta kazi, wanataka kuona ujuzi wako na talanta yako, si vyeti.
Eleza zaidi kuhusu sajili hii.
Sajili hiyo hutumia kauli fupi fupi.
Barabara kabisa.
Na msamiati maalum.
Msamiati maalum. Bainisha toni ya dondoo.
Mwenye bidii, alitia bidii na kuweza kupata nafasi ya kuwa gavana.
Welcome to Big Minds on KBC Channel 1.
I'm Elsie Mokami, 13 years old. I'm a young environmentalist from Tetu Girls.
I have a very interesting book for you. The story is The Monkey and the Two Boys.
Today I'm going to be making bacon and egg.
And today I'm going to teach you how to make a quarter paper umbrella.
The cochlear implants are inserted under the skin just behind the ears surgically.
It was the urge to give her son independence that informed the decision that Jackie Njeru took to have the cochlear implant.
I was told about cochlear implant surgery. When the child is young, test their ears. As you test the eyes, test the ears. If they cannot hear, okay, or if you are going for the listening and spoken language, you are going to train them to speak. Implant early and start speech therapy immediately.
Differently.
Good evening and welcome to Easy Friday. It's the end of the work week and we're here to ease you into the weekend with a fresh, thoughtful look at the biggest stories making headlines both here at home and across the globe, from current affairs and impactful interviews to stories that inspire, uplift and inform. This is your hour of a well-rounded journalism served with a calm, confident touch. I'm Caren Kibbett and this is Easy Friday. Our sign language interpreter this evening is Ann Wangeshi. Now, Muslim faithful have gathered across the country for Eid-ul-Adha prayers, signaling the start of the three-day festival. Worshippers congregated at different locations, including in open-air spaces, to pray ahead of feasts and celebrations that are usually associated with the day. Calls for unity and remembering the less fortunate in society dominated the prayers. Eid-ul-Adha coincides with the annual pilgrimage to Mecca, which happens in Hajj, the last month in Islam's lunar calendar.
Allahu Akbar.
Messages of unity, compassion, and care for the less fortunate dominated Eid-ul-Adha prayers in different counties across the country. In Nairobi, Muslim faithful congregated at Sir Ali Muslim grounds for prayers.
Ni vichinjo ambazo kwamba tuenda kuzitekeleza, na vichinjo hizi tufanya ni kulingamana na mafundisho ya babu yetu Nabii Allah Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, alipoambiwa na Allah katika ndoto aende amchinje mwanawe. Ndio maana tutekeleza hii ibada.
Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki yawmika nasta'in.
In Mombasa, the solemn occasion was held at various venues dotting the coastal city. The Cabinet Secretary for Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, Hassan Joho, was among congregants who gathered at the Kulthum Mosque in Kizingo, urging residents to register on the Boma Yangu platform to become homeowners.
Nawasihi kwa heshima kubwa waingie kwa Boma Yangu wajiregister. We don't want to create a situation whereas hawakuregister and then what is meant for them iende kwingine alafu itakuwa shida.
In Garissa, Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale led the faithful, reiterating the need for the country to remain united and shun leaders he said were hell-bent on fueling tribalism.
Siku ya Idi ndio siku ile ambayo tunaungana. It's a day of unity. Ile rais ameanzisha ya kwamba Wakenya waungane bila kuangalia dini, bila kuangalia kabila, bila kuangalia mahali wametoka. We don't want retrogressive political leaders ambaye wanataka kugawanya hii nchi kwa misingi ya kikabila na wanaanzisha vyama vya ukabila.
The same was echoed in Migori, Isiolo, Mandera and Busia counties, with religious leaders calling on politicians in the country to engage in a sober political competition.
Watu wa siasa wawache kupigania election ama siasa ambao wakati yake ni bado. Watu wa siasa watakuja tuunganisho wa Kenya, wanafanya campaign ambao muda hajafika.
Sisi kama Waislamu, viongozi wa Waislamu, tunaomba viongozi wetu wasikizane, wafanye kazi pamoja, wadumishe amani.
Coming to this orphanage not only solidates my cause as a mother, but also it amplifies my cry inside as a daughter and as an orphan child myself.
In Turkana County, prayers were held at Lodwas Jamia Mosque. Sheikh Abdullah Sheikh, who led the ceremony, urged the national government to deploy the Kenya Defence Forces in the volatile Todonyang area along the Kenya-Ethiopia border, where fishermen were recently killed by foreigners.
Ima kuelimisha, kusaidia kimali, ama kufanya nini kijeshi na kiaskari. Sasa serikali yetu ndio nitakana atulinde mpakani.
The festival is famous for its feast, which Muslim faithful traditionally share with family, friends, relatives and the poor. The slaughter of goat is symbolic of Prophet Ibrahim's obedience when he showed willingness to sacrifice his son Ismail as per Allah's wish, but a sacrifice of a ram was accepted by Allah following Ibrahim's show of faith.
Slaughtering of animals such as sheep, goats and cows is symbolic during the Eid-ul-Adha celebrations by the Muslim faithful. The practice, according to Holy Book of Quran, is in the honor of Prophet Ibrahim's willingness to sacrifice his son as an act of obedience to God. Timothy Kipnusu visited several slaughterhouses within Nairobi and its environs and paints a picture of how the celebrations were marked.
Kiamaiko Slaughterhouse in Nairobi. The place is busy as Muslim faithful pick the best chunk of meat as part of today's Eid-ul-Adha celebrations.
90% ya Waislamu huku tumechinja.
wale wachache ambao kwamba ni kama 10% ndio hawana namna.
The celebration has never been complete without the slaughtering of the livestock to honor Prophet Ibrahim's willingness to sacrifice his son as an act of obedience to God.
Or the right animal, according to the teaching of Islam, it should be of no deformity. It should not be underweight, and also the age.
Mbuzi pia tunachinja kwa wingi. Kuna furaha ribo bimithri mchanga baharini. Mali kama hapa imechinjwa kama tan 10,000.
The slaughtering of the animals is done in slaughterhouses that practice zabiha, the prescribed method of slaughter for halal animals.
According to teaching of Islam, a day like this, those who are able, they slaughter and they share with those who are in need.
Leo nyama ni mingi soko, watu wakuja wakule nyama. Pia sisi tumefurahi.
Here businesses was booming.
Tumefurahia sana kutoka asubuhi tumepiga mboka, tumeuza nyama na tunasikia poa.
Message of helping the needy in society reverberated here.
Waskini tunasaidia, wale hakuna, wale iko, yote nasherehekea pamoja. Ni kusaidia wenzetu wasiyekuwa na hali na kipato kidogo.
The same script was replicated at Kenimit and Athiriva in Machakos County. More than 40,000 households, especially from informal settlements, benefited from meat donations courtesy of Qatar Charity Organization.
Nawafikia around 40,000 households watakuwa wamepata hii nyama across all Kenya, yani tutakuwa tumefika counties kama 15. Hapa Nairobi leo tunafanya distribution Kibra na Mihango area. Tunataka kutarget all families zenye wanahitaji msaada.
The organization has over the years ensured it put a smile in the faces of the vulnerable in society, especially during such celebrations.
What we do as Qatar Charity, we make sure we reach the beneficiary and touch them by the hand. So you'll be seeing our teams in different fields, in different distribution locations, and they'll be receiving the meat and taking home.
Timothy Kipnusu for Easy Friday.
The government has procured a total of 6.2 million doses of polio and BCG vaccines to address the shortage in parts of the country. Medical Services Principal Secretary Dr. Ouma Oluga has said 3.2 million doses of polio vaccines are already in the country and are undergoing clearance at the port of Mombasa, while BCG vaccines are expected in the country early next week.
In the latest move aimed at addressing the shortage of childhood vaccines in the country, Medical Services Principal Secretary Dr. Ouma Oluga has announced the procurement of over 6 million doses of polio and BCG vaccines.
We have received actually 3.2 million doses of polio, and then we are expecting another 3 million doses of BCG vaccine. And so really there is no cause for alarm. We will do the catch-up campaign. We will get all the children that have missed their doses. We are asking all the mothers to bear with us.
Oluga assuring Kenyans that the vaccines will be distributed in all health centers across the 47 counties by mid-June.
Gladly, the vaccines that we are receiving, we are going to have around 5 months of stock. And we have already made an order for the second batch of the vaccines.
He noted that 5 counties still have vaccines, whereas 12 have run out.
For example, we have taken some vaccines from Garissa back to Nairobi, from Meru and Embu, back to other counties in Western, such as Trans Nzoia. And we are trying to make sure that we share what we have in the next few weeks.
Nancy Okware, Easy Friday.
Now, the African Commercial and Development Finance Banks have been challenged to dedicate more funds towards financing green and environmentally friendly industrialization. This was the clarion call by President William Ruto, who also serves as the chair of the Committee of the African Union Heads of State and Government on Climate Change. Ruto was speaking during a high-level consultative meeting on the Africa Green Industrialization Initiative at State House, Nairobi.
Barely days after marking World Environment Day, President William Ruto challenged the continent's financial institutions to dedicate more resources towards financing the green economy. The president said that at a time of competitive and volatile geo-economic landscape and reconfiguration of global trade policies, Africa needs to look inwards to its financial institutions for solutions to address climate change and accelerate development.
Here, not too far from us in Naivasha, is Africa's only green data center. These are some of examples that we think can be rolled out throughout the continent. But that will require financing.
We believe that the continent's financial architecture represented here should collectively scale up its catalyzing of green industrialization in Africa in several ways.
In this fractured world order, Africa must rethink its strategies, look inward, and explore how to strengthen and leverage its own institutions to compensate for the shortfall in external investment.
President Ruto pointed out that Africa is not lacking in initiatives on industrialization, development, or climate action, but tangible results in addressing these issues were elusive.
Unlocking Africa's potential demands deliberate and coordinated action by African governments, financial institutions represented here today, and the private sector. This will not only navigate the emerging geopolitical economic order, but also shape it to reflect our collective aspirations for stability and prosperity.
He cautioned African commercial and development banks against profiling the continent as risky at international forums, saying such negative stereotypes only hold the continent back.
Africa is emerging as a significant actor in the global climate mitigation efforts as we harness the green, cleaner, and renewable energy potentials.
And therefore it is necessary for us to build a collabo, if I may use that word, a collaboration between the private sector, the commercial banks, the financial institutions, and the public sector.
Nancy Okwari, Easy Friday.
The opposition brigade is alleging a plot to lure Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka to government in a bid to weaken the opposition. DAPK party leader Eugene Wamalwa and former DP Rigathi Gachagua are accusing the government of plotting to divide the opposition, calling on opposition leaders to remain united. Here are the details of the political drumbeats as the weekend kicks off.
Despite the Eid-ul-Adha festivities, political leaders continued with the political rallies with the opposition brigade pitching 10 in Makueni County. It is here that the leaders led by the DAPK party leader Eugene Wamalwa and the impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua accused the government of plotting to disintegrate the opposition.
Wakituma mtu anaitwa Faruk ama Oscar Sudi kusema ati wanataka wachukue Kalonzo. Ninyi mkiona hawa watu mkiona wao, waambie hawatafaulu kutugawanya. Sisi na Kalonzo Rigiji na hii team hadi mwisho.
Ametuma watu hapa Kitui kumuingilia huyu kiongozi. Na anakosea yeye heshima na jamii ya Wakamba. Anatuma mtu ya standard 6. Ni madharau si madharau. Ati mtu ya standard 6 anamwambia Kalonzo ati aingie kwa Ruto.
Addressing the residents of Emali and Salama areas of Makueni County, the leaders also declared they would be marking June 25th as the Gen Z Freedom Day in remembrance of the youth who were murdered during the anti-finance bill protest last year. Tunatangaza kwamba tarehe 25 mwezi huu ni Gen Z Freedom Day. Meanwhile, Laikipia East Member of Parliament Mwangi Kiunjuri and his Buri counterpart Mugambi Ndikiri were at Liki area Nanyuki town of Laikipia County to distribute foodstuffs and blankets to locals. They took the opportunity to hit out at Gachagua, accusing him of insulting leaders in the region earlier to the Kenya Kwanza government.
Badala ya kuelezea Wakenya ni kazi gani utakuja kuwafanyia, uelezee Wakenya tofauti yako na wale wako. Utuelezee ni njia gani utatuelekeza, ile njia unatuelekeza ni njia ya matusi. Tunataka watoto walimu wamemaliza shule wapate kazi.
Tunataka vijana wetu waandikwe askari. Tunataka vijana wetu waandikwe kwa jeshi. Tunataka vijana wetu wapatie empowerment. Sasa tukitoroka kwa serikali, tufuate mtu mmoja na tuita KE, tutapata hiyo kazi ama tutafanya?
The leaders maintain that the government is delivering on its promises. Tilio Marco for Easy Friday.
The country is losing 153 billion shillings annually to counterfeits and other forms of illicit trade. To bridge this loophole, Anti-Counterfeit Authority Executive Director Dr. Robin Njoroge says that they are enforcing strict regulations on companies to adhere to their unique product branding and verification that will help end users from falling prey to counterfeit products.
As the world marked Anti-Counterfeit Day on Friday, under the theme Advancing Anti-Counterfeiting Efforts to Foster Innovations and Consumer Trust, Kenya is still battling counterfeit products, with current loss annually capped at 153 billion Kenyan shillings, majorly from critical sectors such as health, agriculture and the construction industry.
What the participants in these particular sectors are telling us, we are experiencing an increased trade in counterfeits. So meaning that we need to reawaken our anti-counterfeit activities or sustain the ones that have already been put in place.
Speaking during the Anti-Counterfeit Authority's 15th anniversary celebration that was marked with the launch of Consumer and Farm Level Survey Report, SCA Executive Director Dr. Robin Njoroge revealed that 30% of counterfeit products reported is carried out on online platforms.
We are collaborating with brand owners so they can train our agencies and particularly our law enforcement officers and the brand consumers, so that by the time when you are consuming those goods, you're able to know which is fake and which is real.
The government has been supporting the agency through Exchequer so that they can be able to sensitize wananchi, the general public, so they can get to know what are the effects, how can you be able to detect.
On his part, the World Intellectual Property Organization Director General Dareng Tang emphasized the importance of firm investing in protecting intellectual property as one of the ways of countering the intrusion of counterfeit products in digital platforms.
Transnational organized crime, traffic in counterfeit medicine, cosmetics, agricultural inputs, fertilizers, and even food. These items do not meet safety standards, they do not pass basic quality checks, they are not merely dangerous, they can be deadly.
Anti-Counterfeit Authority, Kenya Copyright Board, Kenya Industrial Property Institute is expected to be merged and form Kenya Intellectual Property Authority under the Ministry of Trade and Investment. Opicho Chemtai for Easy Friday.
And Opicho's report leads us to our first short break right here on Easy Friday. I'll be back with more reports. Don't go too far.
Je, umewahi kuwa na deni ya KRA? Basi usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC wamekuandalia roadshow murwa kabisa. Jiunge nasi tukufahamishe kuhusu KRA Tax Amnesty Program na jinsi utakavyoweza kusamehewa adhabu na riba na KRA. Pia tutakuwa tunakusaidia kujaza fomu za kodi za mwaka 2024 na kukusaidia na huduma za KRA kwa mtaa wako. Jumamosi tarehe 7 mwezi Juni tutakuwa Mombasa City. Tutazuru Sauti House, Moi Avenue, Cannon Tower, CMC, Ganjoni, Likoni, Nakumatt, Ferry, Kenyatta Avenue, Sabasaba, Changamwe, Tudor, Kongowea, Kisauni na hatimaye Bamburi. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Tracy, ulifikisha doza trip?
Sijafikisha bado. Saving for retirement has been my biggest priority.
So windy trip, nilikuambia jua kali kuna do. Mimi venye nimejipanga na hii biashara yangu, sione nikiwa isote.
Trip bado tunaenda. Na by the way, do you save for retirement?
Kwani mimi ni mzee? I'm still young and I've got plenty of time to start saving later. Then again, si watu wa jua kali, hatunanga hizo ma pension plans.
Kwani ujui unaweza register with an individual pension plan yenye iko regulated na RBA?
Inawakaje?
Una deposit any amount of money at any time na uko guaranteed ukikuwa mzee. Maisha yako itakuwa nywe.
Baadaye nakushia ni ukweli. Hadi mimi boost savings zangu kwa scheme yetu ya job.
Really?
Nilijua siwezi kuwa kijana forever. Sis, usikose kujipanga mapema. Tutakuwa wazee wa maana.
Ebu nionyesheni kuwa mzee wa maana.
Ensure you save and plan for your retirement during your youthful working days. Provided you are earning an income, you can join a retirement benefit scheme registered by Retirement Benefits Authority and safeguard your tomorrow. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits. The men and women in boots. They are commanded to defend and protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic of Kenya. Their bravery knows no limits.
Make a man go through the wall without breaking the wall. Laziness. It is not in our vocabulary.
But what are their stories, their tales? Military Tales, every Saturday at 9 p.m. with Ben Troy Njoe.
Nilimzaa tu kama watoto hawa wengine, lakini niliona mark hapa. Nikaanza kuona hii mtoto yangu si kama watoto wale wengine. Badala aanguke akae chini, mtoto yangu anaanguka mbele. Akaanza kutoka mkojo, anajikojolea. Nikaanza tena matibabu.
Kinyesha, mama ananishikilia, nashika hii mti, najikaza pole pole.
She is a mentor, she is a founder, and she is a beacon of hope for very many women.
I was encouraged to achieve from a very early stage because I was one of the clever students, so I opted to go for the accounting option. But I feel bad, honestly I do, when a student is not given an opportunity to become, because it is education that has made the difference that I have today. I'm more of a person who is driven by the agenda and not the gender.
And I just want to celebrate you on national TV. Coincidentally, today is her birthday, and I have a surprise for you, ma'am.
Happy birthday to you, Mom.
Welcome back. For those joining us right now, this is Easy Friday. Our sign language interpreter this evening is Anne Wangeshi. Now, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki says the government is determined to roll out development projects and in programs in every part of the country. Speaking on Friday at an empowerment meeting in Machakos Town constituency, the DP said no area will be discriminated against by the Kenya Kwanza administration. Presently, in Machakos, the government is constructing 15 modern markets, several affordable housing projects, including thousands of units for university and technical institutes and colleges in the county, among other development initiatives. At the same time, the DP said the government is keen to ensure all communities coexist peacefully for faster development of the country. He also called out on the hell-bent to divide Kenyans on tribal lines.
Sasa watu ya media na markets. Sasa mnaniambia niende.
Sikuwa nimesalimu, mulisema niongezee pesa ile ilifika hapa. Sasa mimi nikiwa hapa niko nyumbani ama siko nyumbani? Si niko nyumbani jameni. Si unaona hata vile naongea kwa starehe. Mtu anaongea kwa starehe akiwa nyumbani. Kwa hivyo tukae hivyo. There is no problem. Na siasa isilete uadui na chuki na vita. Tusikeleleshe wananchi, tusiwe na kuchemsha wananchi kuchukiana, kutupa mawe, kupigana, kwa sababu hatuna nchi nyingine. Siasa tu ni mashindano tukitafuta uongozi.
Wale wanawachochea, waulizeni, mkituchochea mambo ya migawanyiko, siasa ya hasira, siasa ya ukabila, nyinyi mnatufanyia nini? Agenda yenu ni gani? Si ndio?
Si nyinyi mnalipa ushuru, mnalipa kodi, na itakuwa vipi kiongozi wa upinzani anasema ya kwamba tungoje mpaka 2027 akishachaguliwa awaletee mabarabara?
Sisi tunatembea na Caleb kwa sababu nyinyi watu ya Machakos, siku zote siasa yenu haina ukabila. Siasa yenu ni ya Ukenya. Siasa yenu ni ya maendeleo. Siasa yenu ni ya kwenda mbele.
Ukienda kuona president, mwambie watu wa Machakos wamesema na wamedeclare hatutakuwa kwa upinzani tena. Hatutakuwa kwa upinzani.
Tension flared in Goswani area in Narok South constituency as two rival groups were embroiled in a contentious land distribution tussle. The confrontation erupted during the official distributing process of 110 acres of land to 500 new owners following a recent court ruling. During the melee, at least one person sustained serious head injuries.
What began as a normal peaceful day for residents of Nguswani area in Narok South constituency would soon turn chaotic. Fracas unfolded as two rival groups engaged in a dispute over the legitimacy of the land distribution exercise, engaged in violent altercation.
Tuko na shida hapa Majimoto kutoa title mara mbili na kupea shamba moja, ndio anasababisha sisi tuuane. Mimi nimepikwa leo, ufenye umeniona kichwa nimeshonwa kwa ajili kupikania shamba ya kunyang'anya mwenyewe.
Despite the heavy presence of police officers, tension would quickly escalate when the surveyors arrived for the distribution process, prompting the dissenting group to confront the officially recognized land recipients.
Tulisikia kuna jamaa mmoja anajifanya komiti. Aliita wafuasi wake kuja kwa katia shamba ya wenyewe. Shamba ambaye si ya senda, ni shamba ya individual.
However, the more than 500 beneficiaries maintain they legally own the 110-acre piece of land following a recent court ruling that paved way for the ownership.
Na leo tunajaribu kuja kufuata yale kotini amesema. Kuna watu wachache ambao wanatisha serikali na kusema watapigana. Wamepigana, wametupiga, kuna jamaa ameumiswa. Na tunataka kusema ya kwamba tunaomba serikali waingilie hii mambo. Kotini imetoa uamuzi. Hawa jamaa na kulipana na kwenda kwa mambo yao hatuwezi kubali. Tutakuwa hapa mpaka tumalize kudamarcate hii center EMC ya Majimoto.
The violence left one person with serious injuries. This even as the residents appeal for government's urgent intervention to solve the tussle, warning that more dispute would plunge the area into violence. John Kahiro, Easy Friday.
Now, industrial sector players have been challenged to enhance intelligence property protection framework to cushion innovators from exploitation. Now, according to the World Intelligence Property Organization Director General Darren Tang, innovative ideas have long been vulnerable to intellectual theft, which hinders creativity, hence the need to protect and create a space that will help creatives thrive.
With the ticking time bomb of youth unemployment in the country, many have ventured into the informal sector, capitalizing on research and innovation as an alternative source of economic empowerment.
I would encourage young people to come out and innovate and bring their ideas to life, but they need to be a bit wise because as we are in our country right now, we have different problems, different challenges, and we have different organizations willing to support young people to bring their innovations to life.
A section of these young innovators who on Friday converged at the Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute to showcase their innovation works, however, highlighted the various challenges bedeviling the sector.
We've had to go through a lot for 2 years now, and mainly because we lacked the finances to bring this innovation to life. We actually did also lack the local skill, local technicians to also manufacture this.
The situation has further been exacerbated by the inadequate information on patent rights, leaving them vulnerable to intellectual theft or abandonment.
There is the conversation of how do we patent a solution. Of course, it requires a lot of financing, and so a lot of entrepreneurs, they have innovative ideas, but there's the fear of your solution or your idea being stolen, right? There are those conversations happening all over the world. So how do we protect our product, in terms of patenting, trademarking?
A big issue, I didn't know about Kippy, so I got to know about Kippy through a friend. So patenting your idea is very important. Yes, it takes a process, but you know that your idea remains with you.
In his visit to Kenya, the World Intelligence Property Director General Darren Tang highlighted the urgent need for Kenya to establish an intelligence property that supports the young innovators from the grassroots.
Well, basically, we're going to do a lot of training programs. We have mentoring programs that we mentor Kenyan entrepreneurs for 6 to 12 months. We've done that with the youth. We're going to do that with youth. We're going to do it for agri-tech. We have programs at the universities where we're going to help create the right IP policies in 7 Kenyan universities so that laboratory ideas can make it to the market. We're going to help Kenya to implement the about soon to be released national IP strategy.
This even as the Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute and the Kenya Industrial Property Institute pledged to work round the clock to protect intellectual property rights and enhance the commercialization of innovations.
We ensure that we actually get enough entrepreneurs, we train them, they go out and actually create jobs for themselves and therefore grow the economy of the country. That's what we are actually doing as a country.
Intellectual property is a very important tool. If businesses embrace intellectual property, we are going to change lives.
John Kahiro, Easy Friday.
Now, Kenya Union of Domestic Hotels, Educational Institutions, Hospitals and Allied Workers staff, in collaboration with the Grogon business community, participated in tree planting exercises to complement the government's greening legacy. The business community called on the Nairobi County government to support them by allocating dumping sites to manage garbage and enhance city cleanliness. The exercise was a collaboration between KUDEA and Nairobi County government.
Kata kusupport the government kupanda miti ile inafaa ipadwe kwa na serikali. Pia tunataka kulinda mazingira yetu. Tunajua mazingira yetu tukiacha hivyo sisi wenyewe na kizazi kijazo kitakuja kuumia.
Hiyo approach ya kuinvolve the local youth is the best practice, sababu hata tukipanda miti unajua bado wao ndio wataangalia na pia wataweza kupata income out of it. Yeah, so that is the approach the government iko nayo, involve the local youth so that kuna hiyo aspect ya sustainability.
Tunaona kama county government ikishirikiana na sisi na hao youths wetu wa street, former street youth, na ni wazuri sana kwa sababu wao ndio wanajua zile takataka kule zinatoka. Nafikiria tutaweza kusaidia garbage control.
Mahali tunafanyia kazi, vitu zinatusubua sana sana ni kama hiyo dumping. Kusema ukweli, unaenda unafanya kazi, lakini mahali ya kutupa hiyo takataka saa zingine inaleta shida. Lakini kwa sababu sisi tunapata takataka kwa kila siku, tungefurahia kama tungeweza kupewa mahali moja ambaye tutakuwa tunaweka.
Now, once a hotspot of violence and ethnic conflict, the border between West Pokot and Turkana counties has been transformed by the discovery of gold. Areas like Kambi Karaya, Lami Nyeusi, and Takwel, once marked by deadly raids and fear, are now thriving with businesses, school, and cooperation between former rivals. But This fragile peace is under threat after a section of leaders called for the closure of unregulated mines, citing environmental concerns. The move has sparked protests and fears of renewed tensions. Ben Chumba reports.
This was once a corridor of chaos, known for deadly cattle raids, highway robberies and ethnic hostilities. However, the script changed with the discovery of gold.
Hii area mahindi hapana mea. Hii gold imetusaidia. Watoto wameenda shule. Tumesikizana na majirani wetu.
Tunatengeneza gold, tumenunua mbuzi, tumesomesha watoto.
The gold brought more than wealth, it brought peace, it brought people together.
Na mambo ya gold, wamelete sisi pamoja na Waturkana, tunaishi pamoja. Watu wamewaona wana Waturkana, watu wako Kainuk sahi anakula mzuri. Amani wamelete sisi pamoja.
Across Kambi Karaya and Lami Nyeusi, new businesses, hotels and homes are rising, sprouting hope for the residents.
Hapa Kainuk tuko na soko ya mbuzi. Na watu wanaenda hapo Jumapili, kila mtu ananunua mbuzi 30, mbuzi 50. Na wengine wanaleta mpaka wamama wananunua mbuzi.
But this hard-earned harmony is under threat. A section of leaders are calling for the closure of the mines, citing environmental concerns and illegal mining.
Kama unaweza kulisha manyumba yetu kila mtu wefunga gold, lakini kama hakuna hawezi funga. Ati kuna mashamba huko Kambi Karaya imeuzwa, hakuna shamba Kambi Karaya imeuzwa. Hii shamba ya Kambi Karaya tumekondesa.
The backlash from the calls to shut down the mines was swift. Hundreds took to the street, fearing that shutting the mines could destroy not just livelihoods, but the very codes of peace.
Hatuoni haja ya mtu kuleta ujojezi na propaganda area hii. Hii area hakuna mtu alikuwa naishi. Hii area ilikuwa ni hotspot. Kwa sababu ya gold, watu wameishi pamoja, wamechenga hii town inaitwa Kambi Baraka.
Mtu mmoja ako na wanawake 4, 5. Na kila mama anajishughulikia kupitia gold. Sasa mkituumiza jamii tutaanzia wapi? Na unajua mwanaume ni mmoja, wanawake ni 4. Na kila mtu na nyumba yake.
The border is now a vibrant and growing economy. Still, risks remain. Water sources are polluted and many miners work without safety gear, oblivious of the risks. They maintain that closure of the mines is not the solution. The answer lies in improving the working conditions and creating awareness on the protection of the environment. Ben Chumba, Easy Friday.
The multi-million shillings Waga Machame irrigation scheme, spearheaded by the Ministry of Water and Irrigation, is now benefiting over 1,000 who are reaping the fruits of their labor. After 5 years of empty land, locals are set to harvest their first rice crop in an exercise they say will transform their socio-economic status and enhance food security in the region.
Vanga location, Lunga sub-county, Kwale County. A new crop of agricultural entrepreneurs are emerging. At a glance, one will assume these are tall grass and a shanty shed in the middle of a vast savanna. But this is a rice plantation where these farmers are set to reap where they sowed. The farmers aged between 40 to 70 years have toiled in the 1,211 acres for over 6 months now.
Na wote wanashukuru kuona mpunga sasa umekuwa mzuri. Ndani ya miaka 5 ambayo imepita ilikuwa hakuna hichi kilimo.
Familia yangu tasaidia na mwingine nitauza. Lakini sana tasaidia njaa. Sipendi kuuza, labda niwe na dhiki ndio huna budi.
But the journey to see the produce flourish has not been a walk in the park.
Sio kama pale mwanzo tulikuwa tunatumia huu mto wa kuchimba. Temu yote tunaomba tuendeni tukachimbe, tukatoe mataka. Sasa huwa tunapata changamoto nyingi. Maana wengine kina mama nguvu zao hawana. Mtu anashinda na njaa hapa mchana kutwa kusafishana na mto, ukiondoka ukifika nyumbani hakuna kitu.
In 2017, this area experienced a rare phenomenon where River Umbra, whose origin is in Tanzania, changed course.
Kulitokea mto ulikata kule ukaenda njia nyingine. Tulikaa miaka 5 bila kulima.
Kulivunjika tena alafu ukatengezwa tena. Twashukuru Mungu maji yameelekea na tumepambana, tumelima, tumepata. Mpunga ndio huu.
Changamoto ya ndege ni nyingi sana. Sisi tunang'ang'ana nao ndege, kama sikulinda tungekuwa hatuna hata mpunga. Lakini tunang'ang'ana nao ndege, wakienda huku tunao, kaja huku tuko nao.
Hawa ndege shauri shamba ni kidogo. Sasa wajua kitu kidogo na watu wengi tofauti. Wanashambulia kwa sababu mashamba ni.
Kwa hiyo jengine nalofuatia ni fursa yangu kuombea wenzangu kule Matoroni na Vichigini, sababu kwao kule upande wa chini kuna chumvi. Wao mvua kila likija linaingia linaharibu yale mashamba.
The wrath of Mother Nature cut off the locals from the water supply channel, forcing the government to step in and salvage the situation. The Ministry of Water and Irrigation stepped in, constructing canals to enable locals access water again. The initiative being part of the government's grand plan to bring an additional 1 million acres of land under irrigation for the enhanced productivity and food security. For now, it is joy and dance mirroring the faces of those who embraced the project. With the evidence of people benefiting from such initiatives at the bottom of the pyramid here in Kwale County, it is now evident that irrigation could be the key driver of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda if the events of today are anything to go by. Abdiaziz Hashim from Kwale County.
Thank you, Abdi, for that report. Moving on, Chinese ambassador to Kenya Guo Haiyan has called for greater unity and mutual respect among all people, saying cultural exchange is key to peace in a world increasingly divided by mistrust and misinformation. Speaking during a vibrant celebration at the United Nations office in Nairobi to mark the International Day for Dialogue Among Civilizations, Ambassador Guo emphasized dialogue as a vital tool for navigating today's global challenges.
The United Nations office at Nairobi, in partnership with the Chinese embassy in Kenya, hosted a colorful event to mark the International Day for Dialogue Among Civilizations. From traditional songs and dances to theatrical performances, the event blended diplomacy with culture, emphasizing intellectual understanding in a world grappling with division and conflict.
Standing at a historical crossroad, humanity is in urgent need of great ideas, shedding light on the way forward and open minds to bridge cultural divides.
Chinese ambassador to Kenya Guo Haiyan called for greater unity and mutual respect among all people.
Cultural differences should not act as source of confrontations, but rather driving force for progress, to build a global community of shared future for mankind. Each civilization should pursue harmony through diversity and seek common grounds while resolving differences.
Ambassador Guo stressed that no country can face global challenges alone.
As a main sponsor, China is committed to working with all parties to fully implement the resolution, jointly promote the GCI, carry forward the dialogue, and make greater contributions to the progress of human society.
United Nations office at Nairobi Director General Zainab Hawa Bangura underlined that dialogue is not just important, it's essential.
Where dialogue is missing, ignorance fills the void. Around the world, we hear rising voices of intolerance and xenophobia, amplified by online misinformation and hate speech. In our fractured world, dialogue is not optional. It is essential for building bridges of understanding and trust.
Kenya's permanent representatives to the United Nations office in Nairobi, Ababu Namwamba, praised China's global leadership and urged nations to engage through mutual respect and shared values.
In our national anthem and in the call of Harambee, which means pulling together, and as we say in Africa, If you want to go very fast, you walk alone. But if you want to go very far, you walk with others. And you cannot walk with others without dialogue, without understanding.
The event served as a powerful reminder that cultural exchange can be a bridge in a fractured world, and that understanding among civilizations is not only possible but necessary. Ben Chumba, Easy Friday.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya. Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health.
Someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about The Viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good Morning Kenya, every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
Kazi ya kupika, kuosha vyombo, na unaona ile nyumba, ile nataka ingalishwe. Lakini vita si between me na wewe.
Pale kwa gitu nimeona notice.
Ukae bumper to bumper na fadhako.
Niko busy sahi ma'am, but we'll talk baadaye.
Jabu,
you had some company or Alex is in?
No, actually your dad was around.
Mbona? Nini uniambi? First uniulize kuhusu dad na hii place. Ama bit dad anaweza kuwa.
You should say thanks to Alex for bringing back your phone from black markets.
Black market?
Would have given me a heads up, at least nikuwe ready.
I think you're trying too hard to breastfeed.
You are fit, big, you have beards, and you know.
We don't know this girl at all.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. Now, Nyeri National Polytechnic has embarked on greening initiative by establishing a tree and fruit nursery at the institution. The nursery is projected to produce over 100,000 seedlings, and the Kenya Railways is positioning its marine division with bold plans to expand marine transport services across Lake Victoria. This and other stories making headlines in our county news roundup.
Speaking during World Environment Day celebration, Nyeri National Polytechnic Principal Dr. David Mwangi said the greening campaign targets to distribute seedlings and plant more trees within the institution and other areas within Nyeri County.
Polytechnic has been given a responsibility to plant 1.2 trees. And Nyeri has actually been able to collaborate with the other stakeholders, including conservatists, to achieve this objective.
Meanwhile, the Kenya Wildlife Service has called on students across the country to take a leading role in environmental conservation efforts during a tree planting event held at Mangu High School. KWS sounded a warning over the dangers plastic pollution poses to wildlife.
The future generation, the future leaders who are actually behind me are the people who should actually take this initiative and ensure that our environment within the schools, within our estates, within our homesteads are actually plastic free.
And the Kenya Railway is positioning its marine division as a key player in regional logistics, with bold plan to expand marine transport services across Lake Victoria. According to Kenya Railway's Managing Director Philip Mainga, the renewed focus on marine transport is part of a broader strategy to enhance intermodal logistics and revitalize Kisumu Port as a central hub for East African trade. Elsewhere in Kakamega County, miners have been urged to practice afforestation and reforestation. The miners have further been enlightened on the importance of managing mercury and plastic waste, reminding miners that mining is a destructive activity, urging them to help rehabilitate the environment.
We are also conducting sensitization on some of the other environmental challenges that miners face, like plastic wastes, the issue of mercury management, and also on the issue of gender and social inclusion, especially at mine sites.
Over 63,000 women in Tana River and Makueni counties have benefited from a climate action project implemented over the last 4 years. The region have been among the hardest hit by the effect of climate change, including floods and severe droughts.
Sisi akina mama, hii mradi itatusaidia. Kuna akina mama wengi wako na shida ya health, na kuna njia ambayo wanaweza saidika kuwa wajue kama health yao iko sawa ama haiko sawa. Kwa hivyo kulingana na hii mradi ambayo imekuja, sisi tunaikaribisha na itatusaidia kama akina mama wa Tana River.
Finally, Kakamega Governor's spouse, Professor Janet Kasili Barasa, has been crowned as the champion of the Okoa Maisha ya Mama na Mtoto initiative. The leaders also urge expectant mothers to enroll in the ongoing County Linda Mama program that is meant to support safer pregnancies and childbirth through free maternal healthcare services.
All of you know I'm championing the issue of teen pregnancy. I've been championing against teen pregnancy through advocacy. And through my advocacy, we have brought down the numbers from 14,000 when I came into the office up to 9,000 right now.
Wow. Aaron Amari, Easy Friday.
Now, plastic pollution remains a major concern in the country, despite the government taking steps to address the problem, including banning single-use plastic bags. However, it is not all gloom and doom. In Garissa County, an environmentalist is leading a grassroots recycling initiative of plastic waste, which is contributing to cleaner spaces and is a source of livelihood for many families in the region.
In Garissa County, we find Fred Ondigo, the founder of Takanimali, a thriving plastic recycling initiative employing up to 20 casual workers and supporting over 50 collectors, mostly youth and women. Fred says the initiative not only helps in conserving the environment, but also creates job opportunities.
Inalisha watu. Nimepea watu hapa kazi. Casual wenye wanakuja hapa kila siku kufanya. Mama mmeona. Leo ni wachache wamepunga kwa sababu hatujakuwa tukisiaga. Ile wakati tunasiaga kuna kuanga hapa na watu zaidi ya 20 kwa siku.
Odingo pays 25 shillings per kilogram and sometimes more to motivate collectors. However, he faces challenges like costly county licenses and transport fees.
Wakati unapeleka tena mzigo, tena watakulitisha sesi ya kupeleka. Saa zingine haikui ati ni pesa ngapi. Saa zingine utaambiwa 1,000, siku nyingine unapatana mwingine anakuambia 2,000, zinakuwa changamoto. Na pia wamama kuokota na wanaume. Saa zingine unajua ndio wakusanya hizo nini. Ni lazima avae nguo zenye sio safi sana. Kwa hivyo wengi wataona ni kama wezi.
65-year-old Kasembi Paul is among the beneficiaries of the initiative. She started collecting and selling plastic water bottles in 2018.
Niko na furaha sana kwa hii kazi, manake katika mazingira yangu si mbaya. Kwa siku nikifanya bidii sana naweza kupata hata 2,000.
Isaac Kimitei, the National Environment Management Authority Director for Garissa County, said that with collaboration with other stakeholders, they have been able to reduce plastic waste in the county.
Hali ya plastiki kwa zile chupa ama chupa ya maji ama zile machupa ambayo yametumika katika mafuta, tunaweza tukasema hali ya mazingira ya plastiki za chupa zimeweza kuondolewa. Zile changamoto ambazo tuko nazo kwa wakati huu ni zile mifuko midogo midogo, zile zinaitwa kwa Kiingereza single use plastics.
Deco Khalif from the Garissa County Directorate of Environment says they have implemented the Garissa County Environmental Management and Coordination Act to ensure proper disposal of waste across the region. Currently, the country generates an estimated 966,000 tons of plastic waste annually, which according to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development is expected to rise 5 million by 2030.
Mombasa County has declared an outbreak of chikungunya, the viral infection transmitted to human beings by insects such as mosquitoes, causes a crippling body, muscle and joint pains in patients. Researchers warn that changing climate that has seen a rise in global temperatures and heavy rainfall is providing conducive conditions for the survival of infected mosquitoes that spread the infection.
Grown bushes, courtesy of the wet and warm conditions in Mombasa County, coupled with the plastic containers and clogged drains, provide ample breeding grounds for the Aedes mosquito, the breed that spreads chikungunya virus. Chikungunya is a Makonde word used to describe patients who would bend due to the crippling pain from the virus. Newton Mwatoa, a resident of Mlango Saba area of Mshomoroni in Kisauni sub-county, has been down with chikungunya.
It is a very painful disease. Mtu ikikushika unaweza kuona unakufa saa hiyo hiyo. It is very, very painful, very. One day nilikuwa naona kama nyumba ina yumba.
For Shamim Musa, a resident of Majengo in Mvita sub-county, it started with a headache, joint pains, itchiness, rashes, feverish, loss of appetite and nausea.
Usiku ika natetemeka sana, nasikia baridi, watetemeka kila mahali, mikono wava gloves, socks. Asubuhi nikaenda hospitali nikaambiwa kwa kuna hiyo outbreak ya chikungunya na daktari akaniambia nimepatikana na hiyo chikungunya.
It was the same for Khadija Hussein, a resident of Magongo in Changamwe sub-county, but got complicated when she started feeling as though her fingers were swollen.
Viungo vyote mpaka hivi vidole kilala hivi usiku. Usingizini ukishtuka, ukifanya hivyo sia kama vimfura wasikia uchungu. Haya magoti, uti wa mgongo huu, kichwa sasa.
They reinforce the chikungunya outbreak declaration by Mombasa County Administration after 45 samples were sent to the Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI, and 25 turned positive for chikungunya, with one testing positive for dengue fever.
Sub-county zote zimeathirika. Likoni, Changamwe, Mvita, Nyali, Kisauni, zote.
Dr. Victor Ofula, a senior researcher at KEMRI, says chikungunya is spread by the female Aedes mosquito, which is known to bite between 11 a.m. in the morning and 3 p.m. in the afternoon.
Mbwa mchana. Sasa. Usiku tutalala kwa neti na mchana.
So we would advise that if somebody is even taking a nap in the afternoon, it is important for them to sleep under a bed net so that they are not exposed to the mosquitoes.
The Aedes mosquito eggs are known to survive in dry environment but hatch when water becomes available. A mosquito that may have been infected lays infected eggs that hatch into infected mosquitoes that spread the virus.
Once a mosquito is infected, the entire body will be infected. Even the eggs will be infected. And so when the eggs are laid, they will be laid and they'll have the virus in them.
The Aedes mosquito is known to be present across the country, making it possible for the virus to spread through human movement from the endemic counties like Mombasa and Mandera to other areas. with the impacts of climate change providing conditions necessary for the survival of the female Aedes mosquito, county governments are being urged to put in place surveillance mechanisms to prevent the spread of the disease.
Other areas to take precaution, take care of the environment, clear breeding places.
Mahali ninafundisha pia shule iko within the slums. So pengine hapo pia kuna hizo changamoto za pools of water, drainage in Mombasa is not a good one.
Judith Akolo, KBC, Channel 1.
Wiki hii kwenye mkulima,
tutamfuga inzi chuma kisha tumlishe kwa kuku.
Tutaelekea huko JKUAT katika kitengo cha wadudu tujifunze mengi kuhusu nyenje.
Hakuna kustuka tena ati hii ni nini? So sasa tunaangalia at industrialization. This is now going industrial scale.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 kwenye mseto kamili wa kilimo
hapa KBC Channel 1.
Shilingi 60 za mwezi jana.
Ndio nilikuwa nataka kuuliza ya nini umeandika hapa juu?
Hizo yote matumbo yenu. Manake ukichukua kitu mimi naandika.
Mimi nimekwambia hivyo ndio mwisho. Pesa zangu ama mali yangu. Hivyo tosha.
Kukopa mimi ukota kile kitu nyumbani.
Mwisho wa mwezi Pelesia mashambani.
Na watoto jenda wawata hapa.
Mimi nisiende kazini iwe kazi yangu kana watoto hapa. Ama ofisini pia nifungue kana sari kangu kadogo ndio nikienda nao.
Wewe mbona usichukue na jembe ukaenda ukalima au siku za Jumamosi na Jumapili mwanangu wewe uko wapi?
Tabia njema ufunzwa nyumbani. Wewe hii tabia nyingine imetoka wapi?
And a very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Prime Edition Sport. Now, Charles Muneria successfully defended his 10,000-meter titles after coming home first during the ongoing annual Kenya Prisons Inter-Regional Athletics Championships that began today at the Ulinzi Sports Complex in Lang'ata. Over 500 athletes are taking part in the championships that are being used to select the Prisons Kenya team to the National Athletics Championships.
Muneria bagged his 5th consecutive 10,000 meters title after clocking 29 minutes at 29.07 seconds to finish first ahead of Benjamin Kipto, who timed 29 minutes 21.9 seconds to finish second, while Peter Wanyoike, who was representing Eastern, wound up the podium dash in 29 minutes and 44.3 seconds.
Sijakuwa natarajia kushinda, maana nilikuwa nakuja kama mwili siyaamini. Nikasema tu venye nitakimbia na pia ndaishukuru. Sikukimbia venye nilikuwa natakikana kwa sababu nilikuwa na ile kumbe shida ya tumbo, hata nilipoenda ule ile nisumbua sana. So nimekuwa nakimbia tuna challenges. So sasa ndio nimetibu shida nimekuwa nayo. So ndio nasema ilikuwa nienda nijaribu hiyo ndio nikuja niende race nilikuwa inafuatilia. Kwa race yenye watanipatia nilikuwa nataka ni improve my time. Hiyo ndio na target high time ya marathon. Pia nitaramusha kwa kutoka 28 kuja hata 25 hapo hivi.
Mbio ya leo ilikuwa moto juu challenges nilijoin college for now 3 weeks after joining college. Alafu nikaingia huko nikamaliza 1 week. Maneno ingiana alafu nikaanza mazoezi. So leo nikasema acha nijaribu 10k sijai kimbia tangu high school 2019. Sikuwa napenda track nikaenda marathon. Leo nikasema acha nijaribu 10k. Ndio nione vile itakuwa. To mwili ilikuwa imechoka sana na also condition ilikuwa hot. Alafu nikajaribu. Sikuwa na expect nichukue namba 2. Ni motivate sana. 10k is the best race kwangu. Nimerealize nimekimbia with challenges, but leo nimerealize 10k in the best race.
The corresponding men's final was won by Edwin To, who came home first in 15.4 seconds, while William Nyagaka and Sami Rugut wound up in second and third positions respectively.
Haikuwa rahisi sababu kulingana venye mwili ilikuwa nimejaribu, sababu nimekuwa na injury kidogo for the last 3 weeks, but nimejaribu. Nilirekebisha my runway, ndio naona ni kama haikuwa inaingiana that time during the last decade, so nilirekebisha the runway na naona imeingiana. I tried 205 but you now defense zile bado niko nazo, they are still demanding for my energy, so bado najaribu. From here naenda javelin, then from there naenda long jump.
Elsewhere, Peter Mwangi won the men's shot put finals after registering a throw of 15.86 meters, while Dismas Kiprono and Victor Makoyamo wound up in second and third positions respectively with throws of 12.42 meters and 12.35 meters respectively. The Kenya Prisons is using the championship to select their team to the forthcoming national trials on the 24th to 26th of July, which will also act as World Athletics Championship qualifiers.
Now, the GSU men and Kenya Pipeline women's volleyball teams showcased their prowess to take the lead in the Kenya Volleyball Final Playoff that began today at the Kasarani Indoor Gymnasium with a best-of-3 series. Defending champions, GSU stayed on course for another title with a straight sets defeat of KPA in Game 1 of 25-15, 25-22 and 30-28. They dominated their first set before they faced resistance in the second set, but managed to seal the match in the third set with extra points. Kenya Pipeline, who are on a quest to reclaim the women's title, beat DCI in straight sets of 25-19, 25-20 and 25-14. If Pipeline and GSU's women's and men's volleyball teams win their second games tomorrow, they will be crowned the 2025 Kenya Volleyball League champions. And if not, then the titles will be decided on Sunday. Now, the national soccer team, the Harambee Stars, are raring to give a good account of themselves when they face Chad tomorrow in the first of 2 international friendly matches at the Marrakesh Stadium in Morocco. Head coach Benny McCarthy will be using the friendly to gauge the players in his bid to come up with a formidable squad that will represent the nation at the forthcoming 2024 African Nations Championship, which will be co-hosted by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. He will, however, miss the services of Police FC midfielder Mohamed Bajaber, who sustained a right thigh injury during training and could not be replaced on time. The second assistant coach Anthony Kimani was flanked by striker Bejan Maui, however, said they will utilize the players who are available while still keeping their doors open for more to join the team in their continuous assessment.
Selected the very best at the moment, and of course, as the coach said earlier on, there's more room for players to come on board. So the ones that have been selected this time round have got a very, very good opportunity to show the coach what they've got so that they can be part of the team going forward. That does not shut the door. The national team is always a revolving door. Any player that is still doing very well out there, I'm pretty sure is going to catch the eye of the coach and will be part of the team going forward.
Ilikuwa nika dream. I work here for long and nilijua one day lazima nitachezea my country, represent the highest level.
And the Kenya national women's netball team has intensified their preparations for the inaugural UAE Netball Cup scheduled for the 15th to the 21st of June in Dubai. The invitational tournament will serve as the 2026 Commonwealth Games qualifier, attracting 6 nations ranked between 18th and 30th in the world. Kenya is ranked 25th globally and is aiming to gain valuable ranking points under the guidance of Ugandan head coach Mugisha Ali, who has been at the helm for the last 3 years. Mugisha said that the team is physically ready ahead of the tournament, with young players also joining the national team camp. Vice captain Helen Sinoya added that the team is aiming to rank in the top 12 in the global rankings, which will seal their automatic qualification for the Commonwealth Games. Kenya Netball Federation Secretary General Millicent Busolo confirmed that the Divas will take part in more international competitions to be held in Malawi, Zimbabwe and Trinidad and Tobago as part of their roadmap to Glasgow.
And physicality, and she's young, and maybe we can expose her for the near future so that she also joins the squad. Our squad is having mature players in their 40s, so we hope sooner or later they will be retiring. So we need to gradually bring in the transition. So we have Rama coming in, an experienced player who has been playing for Kenya. She has motivated herself, she has brought on the experience, and she's bringing the energy that we want. And then, of course, Parin Simiyu, who is a very experienced player, still good to go. As a coach, you're proud to see a very mature player still going. In their ages of 40s, they're still moving. So it's a joy to watch a mature player like that still competing with the young ones. It's very beautiful.
Actually, we are dying for the Commonwealth Games. We are dying for that, and that is what we're aiming at right now, because Commonwealth is one big event that we would want to participate in. So that is what we are aiming at.
We've made sure that all players have reported to come, because we have almost 7 players from the youth team who joined the senior team, so that they can bond together to have a better team for the future. All the 20 players are in the camp, and coach named the team last week, but I'm happy we've reported all of us, and we are preparing well, focused, and I believe we are going to do well.
And now Spain overcame a late comeback to beat France 5-4 at the MHP Arena to earn their place in the UEFA Nations League final against Portugal. Spain were nearly pegged back as France staged a thrilling fight back, scoring 3 times in the last 11 minutes in a desperate attempt to take the game into extra time. La Roja extended their unbeaten record to 19 matches in all competitions ahead of Sunday's final, while France await a third-place playoff against Germany, who were also beaten by Spain in the UEFA European Championship semi-final last year. Spain will face Portugal in the final in Munich on Sunday after the third-place playoff between France and Germany. And the stage is set for a thrilling French Open Women's Final tomorrow between world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka and second seed Coco Gauff. Sabalenka, who's looking forward to a maiden French Open title, ended 4-time champion Iga Swiatek's 26-match winning run with a 7-6, 4-6 and 6-love victory in the semi-finals. Coco Gauff, on the other hand, ended French wildcard Lois Boisson's run by a straight set of 6-1, 6-2 in the other semi-final.
Swiatek. Deuxième manche. Sabalenka.
And so tomorrow, there's going to be a winner at the French Open Women's Championship. Meanwhile, the men's single semi-finals, Carlos Alcaraz is going to be defending his title after his opponent, Luke Musetti, retired in the 4th set. At the moment, Jannik Sinner, Novak Djokovic on the court, and Sinner is 2 sets to love up against Djokovic. Full story on the men's semis tomorrow. My name is Daniel Wahome. Back to Caren.
Thank you very much, Wahome, for keeping us up to speed with the latest in the world of sports. Now that brings us to the end of this edition of Easy Friday. Thank you so much for keeping us company as we looked at the stories shaping Kenya and the world this evening. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Anne Wangeshi. Always a pleasure having her with us. Up next, get ready to turn up the volume as DJ Cole Jax is taking over with the Disco Funk Show. Definitely the perfect way to kick off your weekend in style. I'm Caren Kibbett, and I'm wishing you a safe and a restful night and weekend ahead. Good night.
County girls, county
together.
Wanafunzi wa shuleni, onyesha adabu yako. Yesu nipende leo kuliko jana.
Je, ni kweli kwamba vyeti ndivyo chanzo cha ajira?
Ajiri wengi wanatumia vyeti kupunguza idadi ya wanaotafuta kazi. Unataka kuwa daktari na una cheti, lazima uwe na thibitisho kwamba wewe ni daktari.
Hizi ukienda kutafuta kazi, wanataka kuona ujuzi wako na talanta yako, si vyeti.
Eleza zaidi kuhusu sajili hii.
Sajili hiyo hutumia kauli fupi fupi.
Barabara kabisa.
Na msamiati maalum.
Msamiati maalum. Bainisha toni ya dondoo.
Mwenye bidii. Alitia bidii na kuweza kupata nafasi ya kuwa gavana.
Naishi na tumaini, ewe malaika nakupenda. Hit me with one more and one more, let to another. Now it's good.